Hello, my name is Aldo Camarillo, and I'm going to be talking to you about Felix Wankel. Felix Wankel was a German engineer born in 1902 in Lahr, in what is now Grand Duchy of Baden, in the Upper Rhine Plain of the present-day southwestern Germany. At the young age of 17, Wankel and his fascination of cars wanted to make a new kind of motor, one with no pistons and full of innovation. During World War II, Wankel had joined the Nazi Party. Wankel developed seals and rotary valves for the German Air Force aircraft and Navy torpedoes for BMW and Mercedes-Benz. He began development of his engine at NSU Motorenwerk AG, leading the first running prototype on February 1st, 1957. Unlike modern Wankel engines, his 21 horsepower version had both the rotor and housing rotating. His engine design was first licensed by Curtiss Wright in New Jersey, United States. On January 19, 1960, the rotary engine was presented for the first time to specialists and the press in a meeting of the German Engineers Union at the Dutchess Museum in Munich. At this time, Wankel engine became synonyms with the rotary engine. At 1963 IAA, the NCU company presented the NCU Wankel Spider as the first consumer vehicle, which went into production in 1964. Great attention was received by the NSU in August 1967 for a very modern NSU RO80, which had a 115 horsepower engine with two rotors. It was the first German car selected as Car of the Year. The pros of the rotary engine. There aren't many moving parts. This means that there is little that can go wrong with the rotary engine. There can be as little as 3 moving parts at a time. When you compare that to the dozens of parts and components that a regular internal combustion engine runs, they can rev like crazy. The Wankel design is extremely smooth, and there are no reciprocating mass, and this allows the engine to rev very high, which also means it puts out a lot of power. 3. They're compact and lightweight. When you compare the overall size and weight of the rotary engine to the other engines out there, you see that it's much more smaller. This paired with the fact that the engine makes a lot of power makes the Wankel design one of the best power to weight ratio standpoint. The cons. They tend to suck gas and deliver poor emissions. The low compression ratios and the significant amount of unburned fuel that exists at the end of the combustion cycle make for poor fuel economy and emissions. This makes it hard for these engine types to get through the ever-improving emission regulations. 2. They chug oil like it's going out of style. By design, Wankel rotary engines burn oil. The consumed oil helps lubricate the engine and ensure that it isn't damaged. The oil consumption also adds to the fuel economy and emissions issues that the design already has. 3. They require frequent maintenance. Wankel rotary engines are notorious for leaking oil as well as consuming it. This means frequent maintenance checks are required. Oil will be the reason for most of these checks. While these checks are necessary and usually uneventful, it can be a hassle to always have to pop the hood and make sure everything's good. In the modern day, the Wankel rotary engine is used in Japan. The manufacturer Mazda solved the engine's chatter mark problem by reducing apex seal's weight that made it entering resonating vibrations. The engine has been successfully used by Mazda in several generations of their RX series for coupes and sedans, including the Mazda Cosmo, the R100, the RX-7, and more recently the RX-8, which in my opinion is kind of a flop second series of the RX-7 design. Mercedes-Benz completed its C101 experimental model in 1969 with 3-rotor Wankel engine. In 1970, The next model had a four-rotor Wankel engine and could reach a top speed of 290 kilometers per hour. Never reached serial production though. The thing that fascinates me about this ingenious engineer is his ability to create with what he's presented with. Whenever an opportunity has ever approached me to improve myself, I strive to make the most out of it and give it my best shot. And so far, everything has worked out. And when I think about Wankel and his journey to the top, with all his struggles and victories, I hope my journey to the top will be equally as rewarding as his and make a difference in this world.